I'd like to call this meeting to order, please. All right, thank you everyone for coming tonight. I'll call this meeting to order for the regular scheduled meeting for the City Council for August 22, 2004 at 7 p.m. And with that, we have our invocation, and our invocation tonight will be given by Rory Corrigan from the church in Cerritos. Everyone please rise and remain standing afterwards too, please.
Lord, we ask for your presence in this meeting tonight. Lord, do be with our city government. Give them wisdom, give them guidance in all the decisions that they would be making tonight. We ask you to also bless the residents of Cerritos, bless our law enforcement, keep them safe, keep our city safe. We ask all this. We ask that you would remain blessing our city and being with us tonight. Amen.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to ask Troop 394 to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Color Guard attention. Color Guard forward march. Color Guard halt. Color Guard prepare to post collars. Audience, please rise. All those in Scout uniform, Scout salute. All those in civilian clothing, right hand over your heart. Please recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
United States of
and the
America,
republic for which it
to the
stands,
republic which it stands,
under God,
one nation, under God,
liberty and
indivisible,
justice for all.
with liberty and justice for all.
Color Guard post colors. Color Guard regroup. Color Guard retreat. Audience at ease.
Thank you. And Troop 394, if you want, you can come to the podium and introduce yourself. Would you guys like to do that? Come on up. Not often you get to be on TV.
I'm Abhiram Maranidi, and I was the one who led the Color Guard.
Thank you.
I'm Maran Babu. I am the flag bearer of the United States of America.
I'm Sahid Terampuri, and I was the second flag bearer.
I'm Harish.
I'm
Yuka,
waiting for my friend.
and I was a
I'm
flag
supposed to meet
bearer
them here
for
before.
the California flag.
My name is Sanjay Gulapalli, and I was the second flag bearer for the California flag.
Thank you for that. And thank you again for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And with that, we'll go to roll call.
Council and Agency Member Barrows.
Present.
Council and Agency Member Johnson.
Present.
Council and Agency Member Yokoyama.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Vo.
Present.
And Mayor Chair Naresh Solanki is noted absent for the record.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse him, please.
Second.
All right, with that, let's have a roll call vote.
Thank you. Council Agency Member Barrows.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Johnson.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama.
Here.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama, this is a vote on a motion to excuse Mayor Solanki from the meeting.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Vo.
Yes.
And the motion passes by a vote of 4-0.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to presentation and appointments. Tonight, we're going to honor and spotlight our business spotlight, and it's going to be Sapphire Technologies. I'm going to go ahead and read this. And for those representing this business, if you can go ahead and stand right there and just we'll approach you soon. Thank you. The City of Cerritos showcases a local business every month to foster pride in Cerritos and the thriving business community and the strong local economy. A proclamation will be presented to Sapphire Technology Incorporated for being selected as part of the city's business recognition program. Based in the city of Cerritos, Sapphire Technology is a leading developer and manufacturer of energy recovery systems for hydrogen, natural gas applications such as turbo expanders, which harness the power of gas expansion to produce reliable and clean energy, thereby reducing global carbon footprint. Sapphire Technology designs systems to convert energy wasted in pressure reduction processes into electric power without interrupting operations. By recovering wasted pressure energy, companies can maximize plant efficiencies, improve productivity, reduce carbon emissions, offset electrical costs, and generate cash flow. Sapphire Technologies' free spin inline turbo expander generator uses advanced magnetic technologies that help reduce gas pressure and provide a way to capture the energy loss in pressure reduction. The FIT system generators extract kinetic energy from the pressure reduction at the various stages of gas processing and distribution, and allowing for the generation of electricity with no added pollution. Sapphire Technology is located at 16323 Shoemaker Avenue, Cerritos, California, 90703. Their phone number is 562-293-1660, and their website is www.sapphiretechnologies.com. And with that, we have tonight with us Steve Richards, the VP of Engineering. And give me a second, we'll walk over. Steve, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. I'll go ahead and hand this to you real quick. Let's shake your hand. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And with that, I'll give the mic to you so you can say a few words, speak about your business, who you are, and whatever you'd like to say.
Thank you very much. I was going to put that down there.
Sure.
Okay, very good. Hope you can all hear me okay. So my name is Steve Richards. I am the Vice President of Engineering at Sapphire Technologies. So who are Sapphire Technologies and what do we do? Sapphire Technologies is a clean technology company that was formed in 2021, and we design and manufacture products to capture waste energy and convert it into clean, emission-free electricity. How do we do that? There are lots of examples around the world where there's a process gas that's at a very high pressure, and it needs to be reduced to a lower pressure before it can be delivered to a customer. Probably the most obvious example is the natural gas pipeline that supplies natural gas to our homes and factories. The traditional way of achieving that pressure loss does not extract any energy from the reduction. Our products are able to capture the energy that would otherwise be wasted, and each one of our units can generate up to 300 kilowatts of clean electricity, and that's about enough to recharge 1,000 EVs every day. Now look, if you are concerned about climate change and you would like to see some solutions to that, our products are a great part of the mix. It does not require the sun to shine, it does not require the wind to blow to generate electricity. If you're skeptical about climate change, consider this. Once we install one of our units, it will generate free electricity for many years to come. And who doesn't love free electricity, especially here in California with some of the highest rates of electricity in the country. I'm a little closer to the end of my career than the start of my career now, and I think more and more about my legacy and what will my legacy be when I retire. And each one of our products has a design life of over 20 years. So long after I'm retired, those products will still be making clean electricity. I do believe in climate change, and I do worry about climate change. And I think it's a global problem that requires global solutions. Sapphire was formed in 2021. We have about 20 people in the team, but we already have projects in 4 continents. Our first project was in Italy, Europe. Our second project was for 2 units in Japan, Asia. Just last week, we sold our first 2 units into China. We have lots of projects across the US, not one in California yet, we need to fix that. We have lots of projects across the US, obviously North America. And at the end of last year, we sold our first units into Brazil, South America. We're negotiating projects for Nigeria, Africa, and we're talking to several customers in the Middle East for projects as well. So I'm very delighted. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for making this possible. I'm very delighted to be here and accept this recognition on behalf of Sapphire Technologies.
Thank you, Steve. And then for my colleagues, if you'd like to come up, take a picture.
Right over here. When I say three, I want to take a picture. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Great, nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And the next presentation, we're going to have the Purple Heart Month presentation. With that, Mr. Tislow, would you like to come up? A proclamation will be presented in honor and recognition of the Purple Heart Month. What is now known as the Purple Heart was first established by George Washington on August 7th, 1782, as a means to recognize meritorious military service. The month of August has been designated as the Purple Heart Month, and its observance serves as an important reminder of the courage demonstrated by the brave men and women who have been wounded or killed in their selfless service to our country. The City Council wishes to recognize those recipients of the Purple Heart and to express gratitude for the sacrifices made by these individuals and their family. And with that, we have Tim Tislow here to accept that proclamation. Thank you, Tim, for coming. And Tim, I'll give the mic to you so you can say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Vo. I'm truly humbled to accept this on behalf of all the veterans. Purple Heart issued. The Purple Heart is the first military honor award, which was the first also for the enlisted. Before, it was only issued, or not that award, but any distinguished award was issued to officers of any military or of the Continental Army at the time. And George Washington noticed that there was low morale, so he came up with the idea of a Purple Heart issued to all servicemen, including the enlisted. And at the time, it was only a cloth emblem of a Purple Heart, and around it was a cloth which had the words of badge of military merit. So that's what the Purple Heart was known of at that time. And it evolved into a medal with George Washington's profile, and of course the Purple Heart. That was in 1932 by Douglas MacArthur, and he originated the Purple Heart. Since then, there have been almost 2 million issued. Right now, it's like 1,000,775. So that's a lot of deceased and wounded. So I'd like to thank the city for recognizing individuals of our city and of the United States, basically, for their sacrifice and sometimes those that gave their all. So one thing I'd like to bring up, so we're in the cap for Agent Orange, and although it's not recognized as a Purple Heart, we lost over 58,000 veterans in Vietnam. At present, there are more than 300,000 who have perished from the defoliant Agent Orange. And in Vietnam, there's more than 400,000. So it's still present in the food chain, in the soil in Vietnam. So with that, we don't know what, there's almost 20 illnesses attributed to Agent Orange. So it wasn't only Agent Orange, there was Agent Green and all the colors, purple and everything. So the barrels were marked with a stripe for the color, and that was the chemical that was in it. And they said it's not harmful to human beings. Yet in 71, they said, oh, wait, we made a mistake. I think they proved that it was dangerous to human beings and their offspring. So let's just pray that they get this all straightened out. I'm sorry to take up your time, but again, thank you and the city for the proclamation. I'm truly honored.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
And Tim, I can't think of a more appropriate person to be up here to accept this for us. And I also want to thank you for your service. You know, I'm from Vietnam, and for all those men and women who lost their lives and sacrifices for the freedoms that I enjoy today, to be able to stand here and give you this proclamation. So it means a lot to me, so thank you so much. Yeah. And with that, I'd like to ask my colleagues.
After 3, I'll take the picture. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more, 1, 2, and 3.
And then I'm going to ask your lovely wife to come up here too.
All right, everybody, right over here, same as last time. 1.
Where's my son?
Come on, Tommy. Oh, there he is.
Is he taking video?
He's taking video.
Where is he?
Oh, he's taking a picture.
Tommy.
Of course. Come on in.
Get close to me, Tom.
All right, everybody, right over here. After I say 3, I'm going to take the photo. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And one more, 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
He's in the Navy.
How are you? Nice to see you. Long time not to see you.
He always suspected it, but it wasn't until 2-3 years ago that they finally recognized it.
Until we're gone, and then
Yeah.
Good to see you. Good to see you. If you know anybody with Agent Orange, you can.
All right, thank you so much. Next would be item number 6, public comments and suggestions. This section is reserved for public comments on the consent calendar, closed session items, and items not listed on the agenda. but that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the legislative body. Verbal comments will be limited to 3 minutes per speaker, subject to the mayor and chairs extending to a maximum of 5 minutes per speaker, with a total time allotted of not to exceed 45 minutes total, unless the mayor or the chair extends it. And with that, I'll open up public comments. Anyone would like to speak to the council?
Mayor Pro Tem, if I could ask a question to the attorney before we open up. City Attorney, recently we had two residents come up in public comments at our meetings, and their comments were that they felt that our public comments should be restricted only to Cerritos residents. I know that not to be true, but if you could please provide some legal background and information on that request they have made and share it with the community. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Council Member and Mayor Pro Tem, and for the benefit of the community. The allowance for public comment is pursuant to both the state and United States constitutions that guarantee the right to free speech as well as to petition the government for grievances. And the state law that implements this vis-a-vis the open meeting law is known as the Brown Act. And it provides specifically that members of the public have a right to address the city council, and that every agenda for a regular meeting must provide an opportunity for the public to address the council on any item of interest within the subject matter of the city council. This has been enacted pursuant to state and federal case law that does recognize the right to freedom of expression and free speech and to petition the government, that is balanced with what are commonly known as time, place, and manner regulations so that the city council may conduct its business, but also guarantees the right of the public to speak. If there were to be any limit on viewpoint or just by virtue of where someone's from in the public to speak, that would be unconstitutional. Again, there are provisions that allow for addressing when public comments and reasonable regulations can be imposed, but not just by virtue of where someone lives. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you, Bill. So just to be clear, you do not need to be a Cerritos resident in order to come and speak under public comments, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you for that clarification. And with that, again, I'll open up public comments. Anybody like to speak to the
Mayor
council?
Pro Tem, excuse me, we do have several speakers registered.
Oh, that's right. Hold on. All right, I'll go with the list that's on the computer here. First on top, be David Palman.
So I agree to a certain extent with the interpretation of the city attorney. However, there are some of us who believe that the jurisdiction of the legislative body should be considered as well. So let me start again. David Plowman. I've heard that there is some amusement when I've appeared at commission meetings recently and when I commented about my inability to give my street address due to the governor's decision that my street name is racist. It's always difficult to decide what topic I wish to speak about during public comment section. Tonight, I would have liked to talk about the ongoing protocol manual revisions. But after reading through the existing document and listening to Mr. Barrow's comments on what he sees coming out of this review, I know that even 5 minutes is not sufficient to make a cohesive case for meaningful modifications. I am led to believe that this topic will appear on a September agenda. I am hoping that some of the regular speakers at council meetings will have an opportunity to review the draft document before it becomes laid in concrete. But during my attendance at one of the commission meetings, a commission member opined that they would like to see some additional programs provided to the residents. The designated commission liaison, as apparently they are now titled, responded that the budget was now fixed and no programs could be added for this year. On this topic, Linda, I appreciate you bringing a couple of items out of consent calendar in the last couple of months. I think it is too easy to bury items in the consent calendar where probably many of the residents do not click on the staff report for budget amendments. On July 25th, $467 were moved from non-personnel expenditures, and $785 were moved for upgrades to salaried positions. Tonight, the budget amendment item only includes $527 new dollars, as the bulk of the monies were moved from unexpended prior year funds. However, I do wonder whether we need $10,500 worth of wireless microphones. Of course, this does not include the creation of the Enterprise Services Division and further modifications that were made to salaries within this entity just as the budget was finalized in June, which, had it not been for the discussion about monies for the Chamber of Commerce, that item would have been left in consent calendar and not discussed. So let's not have a department manager telling a commission that program modifications cannot be made after July 1. At the photo op, acknowledging the monies from Michelle Steele to expedite construction of the Coyote Creek Bridge and the associated street straightening.
Sir, Mr. Pollan, just to let you know your time
30
is up.
30 seconds
I'll
more.
let you finish real quick. Thank you.
I voiced my appreciation for Public Works doing some extra work to beautify the Lakewood Greenbelt and opposite side of Del Amo Boulevard prior to this event. And it was brought to my attention that several more members of the park staff had been recently added to the payroll. I understand that one or more unions is not pleased with salary negotiations. I ask them to not be disappointed when more people have been added to the payroll. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
David, before you walk away, the protocol manual, based on what we did the first time we passed it, we had at that time 3 meetings at the library, as public meetings. And in that, the process that we went through allowed for residents to speak basically on every single page. Is very informal, and this process is going to go through something very similar to that. It's not going to come to the council on an agenda item to be considered without going through this other process.
Okay, I appreciate that. That was not what I was informed of. I was informed that that at either the first or the second meeting in September, the modifications to the protocol manual would come before the council. If that's not true, then hopefully there will be an announcement of those opportunities for
There's going to be
comment, and I will
there's going to be an announcement, and it's going to address a fair number of things, based on laws that have changed, samples of things from other cities that have been put in place that work. But it's all on the table, for discussion.
Several meetings ago, the city clerk asked for an extension of commission members' terms because she hoped that by the end of October, this process would be completed. So you still feel that it's reasonable to get public input and to complete this process by the end of October?
I can't say on the end of October, but we are going to get public input.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Nope, sorry. Thank you. Next speaker we have is Suzanne Furman.
Good evening, City Council and staff members. My name is Suzanne Furman. I am the Public Relations Coordinator for the World Mission Society Church of God. And the reason I'm here today is just to introduce our church to you, just to talk about the extensive philanthropic work we've carried out throughout the world, to embrace all global citizens as our own family, and to request your partnership and endorsement to carry out services here in Cerritos. So just following the email I received from Mayor Solanki, I understand that Cerritos is fortunate to have many volunteer groups, and I want to share what makes the Church of God significantly different. First, the Church of God is a non-denominational Christian church that believes in God the Father and God the Mother and keeps the new covenant according to the Bible. We're a worldwide church with over 7,500 churches, especially here in Cerritos, and we exist in 175 countries. We follow the teachings of Christ and exemplify giving love to our neighbors by making positive contributions that transform the world for the better. The way we do this is by carrying out various initiatives that support the common goals of the international community, namely the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, that aim to address various challenges humankind faces, such as global, environment, economic, and social issues. First, we raise awareness and encourage others to take action. For example, on August 11th, we hosted a forum at the Long Beach Aquarium entitled No More GPGP to spread the awareness of the negative effects of plastic pollution. With over 300 participants, we discuss how we can reduce the use of plastics. Next, we take action and host a number of campaigns that focus on the most pressing issues. Specifically in the United States, we've carried out disaster relief in the East Coast after Superstorm Sandy. We've carried out disaster relief in Midwest after the devastation of several tornadoes, and in Texas during the power crisis in 2021. In California, we've hosted multiple blood drives, collecting over 1,000 pints of blood each drive in order to address the shortage in Los Angeles County. We regularly donated school supplies to help our students prepare for a successful school year. And we also host environmental cleanups. We just did one in Torrance, and we are doing one in Southgate as well, with over 100 volunteers in attendance. And we do all of this in collaboration with City Council and Chamber of Commerce in order to beautify our streets and also to reduce crime rate. Our members in Cerritos are the ones who are spearheading many of these campaigns with neighboring city governments, but we earnestly wish to do something like this in Cerritos. In our global volunteer efforts, the Church of God has been recognized over 400 times by government agencies throughout the world, including the U.S. Presidential Volunteer Service Award, gold status throughout the span of 3 consecutive presidential terms, Obama, Trump, and Biden. And I sincerely hope that we can meet soon to discuss how we can partner together to make Cerritos an exemplary city, and I thank you so much for your time. I do have some pamphlets, if I can leave them with somebody.
Of course, and thank you for coming to speak today.
Thank you so much.
Next person we have is Peter Park. Mr. Park, are you here? Yeah. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Peter Park, and I'm a resident of Cerritos. I was basically born and raised here, went to school in Leola Elementary School, went to Whitney High and Gar High School. I went to UCLA, worked for Lockheed Martin, so I'm a pretty smart guy. Recently, I've been having some problems with the district and the city where the city workers or the guys the Public Works Office have hired have been dumping all of the city's trash, like 166 Road, 183rd, parts of Sundance, and God knows what else. They have a contract with you guys that's gonna last about a month right now, and looks like they're still dumping because even just this morning, I see dump trucks next to my neighborhood. I went to the district for about 2 weeks. Nothing really happened except for maybe a water truck coming out there every now and then, but that doesn't matter. When 6 in the morning, the dump trucks and the bulldozers come with all that asphalt and concrete, and then at 7 o'clock, when I can call somebody in the city, they start watering. I had been telling people I've been recording for 2 weeks. I've been taking samples of the air quality. I've been taking soil samples. I've personally gone to 166, 183rd, and Sundance and asked the employees, are you dumping in my neighborhood? They said yes. I took videos of this from the sidewalk, and just the other day, I went to the school district meeting and let them know about my complaints, even bringing 14 signed petitions from my neighborhood stating my grievances as well, including the Homeowners Association president, who's also complained to the district asking for dust nets. Fun fact about that, in front of the HOA president's house, I found a pile of new dust nets just sitting there, enough to cover the whole area, and the district said they couldn't afford it. This has been going on for 4 years now. I've talked to the city clerk office, public works office, code enforcement office, and the only person that's actually helped me is actually sitting right here, the code enforcement officer, Daryl. He's the one who told me, my voice is small, so maybe I can get a petition going, look at my resources like the CARB, California Air Resource Board. I've messaged them as well. I've talked to the California Board of Architects, who's in charge of the zoning area for the school district. He was very helpful with that information as well. So, thank you once again. But for everyone else in the city and the district, they have failed me. I've made it very clear time and time again. I've put city codes through AIs. I can't read that by myself. I specifically asked them, what are they doing wrong? Are they allowed to do this? It went back to even citing, rules they had to follow in the 2018 Measure BB program, where houses in Cerritos had to pay $170 in property tax each so that the schools can rebuild their solar panels, their sidewalks, whatever, right? All of their stuff. All of that got dumped in my backyard. We paid $170 a year for that to get dumped in our backyard. And when I complained, what happened? Nothing. So I know I'm past my time, but I just like to show you a picture of what it used to look like when I was growing up here and loved this city, and what it looks like today.
Thank you, Mr. Park. So can staff respond to that, please?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. The site in question that the resident is referring to is a field that is owned and maintained by the ABC School District. It's generally southeast of 166th Street and Norwalk Boulevard. The field has been used by the school district for various uses. It's generally vacant. Most recently, the City of Cerritos has entered into a contract for street repair, replacement of sidewalks, gutters, and asphalt. The contractor made a private agreement with the school district to use this area as a staging area for their construction equipment and materials. And the gentleman has indicated that there were some concerns related to the use of that property. It's my understanding that as of either yesterday or today, the school district has canceled its agreement with the contractor. So the contractor, in due course, will not be using that property for a staging area for the city project. So the contractor will find other locations within the region for the staging of equipment and materials. But as such, the property does remain a school district owned property. They do have some autonomy when it comes to city maintenance issues. However, generally when we bring up an issue to them, they are generally good about taking care of whatever the issue is. So we'd be happy to continue the conversation with the school district once the city's contractor has vacated the property.
Okay, thank you for that. And Mr. Parker, just to let you know, you're not a small voice. It's unfortunate that it's gone this long before. I mean, this is the first I've heard of it. I don't know if my colleagues have heard of this before. This is the first that I know I've heard of it, and I think I heard some voices up here. This is the first that we've heard of it. So it's frustrating just to hear you speak about this, and especially when you have an area that's designated where there's residents around there, and you have to live through that. So I apologize that you have to see that and experience that on a day in and day out. But thank you for bringing it forward. I hope that our staff here is going to recognize how important this is to you and also to your community, and then we'll address it. My question would be if that's a code violation in the sense of what they're doing to add this type of stress upon our neighborhood, and if it is, why haven't we addressed it? And it's been going on this long. I don't like hearing this.
I can answer that. I believe in Public Works Office, Daryl, I believe, addressed that they are CQA exempt because anything that's not adding to the city infrastructure is a small project and does not need any environmental regulation checks, no audits, nothing. They're allowed to do whatever they want, and the contractors exploited the state zone to get around not paying for the dumping fees.
Well, if that's an issue with our own contracts and they're doing that and it's interfering with our residents, I think we need to look at that contract.
The head of this contract group has followed me home multiple times, and the sheriff told me that's not a crime. They came to my home 3 times today because I was flying a drone over there with the permission of the FAA, and they only started watering the roads to stop the dust from coming in after seeing me looking at them.
Mr. Park, I hear your frustration. I hear your issues. I'm going to have Daryl over there and then our city manager deal with this, and hopefully we deal with this quickly. Okay,
Thank you.
For
I
your sake.
that.
All right, and then I would like to ask, with the consensus, that staff report back to us on this matter, so we're aware of what's going on.
Yeah, so I've also followed, I think I've recognized some of the faces here because they have also spoken at the school district at their public meetings, and now they've come to the city and spoke before us as well. So if we can also provide updates to our residents as well.
Thank you.
And for the record, are we making this a consensus item?
Yeah, I'm asking consensus for staff to respond to this and deal with this quickly, swiftly, but also report back to council on this matter.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you. Your time was up. All right. Jason Chow. Thank you, sir. Come on up.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm also live with next neighborhood with Mr. Park, because since 4 years ago, I don't know, this school district, even the last 2 weeks, I still know this lot property not belong to City of Cerritos. Very surprised me. Belong to ABC School District, our property, California state government in charge there. Nothing they can do. Because the very first time last week, I called city. I think it's belong to city property. There's your gentleman, his name is Clarence, told me, no. I said, what? This is not belong to city, no. This school is ABC school district in charge of that. Okay, then we call the ABC school district. His name is Steve Richard. You contact with him. He say yes. It's a dumping truck, dumping the trash there, whatever they want, and it's legal. Okay, I asked him, it's legal, but the air pollution. Who care? Who care this air pollution? He said, okay, I will call the company, the dumping company, to sprinkle water to cover that. Okay, since last week, this week, things goes to worse. They started dumping 4 years ago from 1 feet, 2 feet, 4 feet, because our community is have a fence. It's 6 feet high. The truck, the day before yesterday, the truck already 6 feet high. You can imagine, it's a one full football field size, 300 feet by 50 feet. You say how high? Then we'll complain this the dirt, right? Okay, the second day surprised me. They started dumping the pavement trash. You can see that everything is black. It's a one football field size, and a stack high, 6 feet high. Yes, you can imagine what happened. I was wow. That's why there's nothing we can stop. We need to stop something. So that's why we called, and we visit to board member meeting. They give me the answer. Even the Steve Richard called me yesterday, today, this morning, 2 times. Because I'm not home, I just leave a message. He told me he will be send someone else to stop moving all the trash, everything on the ground, keep everything back to the normal. Okay, and I'm surprised. Okay, having got a solution, I just need to. That's why I go to the city hall. Then everything have a record, have a ABC school district promise us will be due complete, everything complete clear. Okay, I just visited here to have a record. We'll have a back in normal life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chow. Robert, I also like to address the issue that the first speaker that brought up in regards to if this is our contract and these are people that we're doing business with, and after the fact that our residents are concerned about it and they're following them home and harassing our residents, I want to address that with their company and whoever you need to talk to at the head level. That needs to be addressed. And then the question I have is, so to my understanding, I understand always when a school district property, they do have to report to the state and not to the city when it comes to development and so forth. But in that location, from what I understand, is the district making money to allow them to dump there?
They're renting to 2 different contracting groups, EVS Inc. and Onyx Construction.
Robert, if you can respond to that.
Yeah, it's my understanding, and I can defer to Mr. Simoes, who was working with their contractor, but it's my understanding that the school district has entered into an agreement, or did enter an agreement with the contractors for the use of the site temporarily, I assume for some sort of financial consideration. But I can defer also to Mr. Simoes to speak to any follow-up that has already been made with the contractor in response to these concerns.
So how long was that contract, existing for, and how long? Sir, please. I'm addressing staff right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So the contractor, to my knowledge, was utilizing that site at the beginning of paving operations, which was the removal of asphalt materials, specifically along 183rd Street. And that occurred at the beginning of, at the end of last week, and a little bit more towards the beginning of this week. The agreement, we are not privy, again, as Mr. Lopez stated, it's a private agreement between the contractor and the school district. So the city of Cerritos was not privy to their agreement details, but they entered into some sort of an agreement in which the contractor was allowed to use that private property from the city's perspective for construction staging of equipment and or materials. It is my understanding that the contractor is no longer using that site, and the school district has since redacted their agreement with the contractor.
Okay, so do we have a time frame for them to clean that all out? Do we know that?
I am not privy to those details. Again, that's an agreement between the contractor and what is the school district, which is, as far as the city is concerned, a private entity.
Can we find out, though?
Of course,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you. And then Bruce, I think you have a comment?
It surprised me, the contract is between us and them for the streets. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And we don't have any terms that describe what happens to the material?
We do have terms on what happens to material. They are required to terminate their materials and at a specific dump site. But in between that time in which the materials are removed, they could have taken it to their own construction yard or another yard. They need to prove to the city that the end result of where their materials are disposed of is in a approved facility.
Well, this sounds exactly like a number of articles in the LA Times over the years where companies have allowed things to pile up and create air pollution, health issues. And to me, the contracts were never specific. And they allowed, health issues to develop. And of course, that forced the residents in the areas to go ahead and do petitions and all kinds of things, trying to get the attention of authorities. And to me, what I'm hearing is that we have a loophole in our contracts. Because what you're telling me is that we haven't dictated exactly what's going to happen to that material and when and how it's going to be out of the area. So if we allow them to go enter into a contract because it's beneficial to them, to put over on, I assume it's the old ball field area for ABC where Cerritos Artesia Little League used to play baseball. And they've stored stuff over there for years. So if that's an issue, I think we need to, look at our contracts to be sure that this never happens again.
We definitely can do that. Up until this point, we've never had a concern or this need has never arisen. Contractors have typically taken their materials directly to the dump site, to the disposal location. This is the first time that we've been notified, and I was notified. As soon as I was notified, I asked the contractor why they were taking it to there, and their response was that they had entered an agreement with the school and that they were doing this to speed up the construction for our streets.
Okay. I think on the interim, I think it'd be worth having a consent calendar item to have a clause developed that we can look at to be sure that this is preventable in the future.
If I may, council member and council, we'll certainly look at the agreement and address the concern on if there's a loophole. My hunch is that what we'd also want to do is look and see if the contractor is in breach, not alleging that they are right now, but it sounds like there's obviously some concerns with the residents. And typically our contracts do require all contractors and the vendors to follow industry standards and levels of care, and it sounds like that required level in the contract might not have been met here in the first place, but we can certainly look at the agreement language as necessary too.
Well, Chung, you had a consent item. Can we modify it?
You can add
this
that.
Become an agenda item that we can review and have report back exactly what our attorney discussed. And if it warrants to have, potential language that we'd add in as a boilerplate type item for all the contracts. I mean, I understand how things come out of, nowhere, but this is something our cities aren't known for.
Yeah, I would agree to that.
I'm sorry, can I ask for clarification? What was the exact consensus in addition to the Mayor Pro Tems?
Okay, it'd be that you want to go ahead and look at the contract and
Correct.
see if there's some omissions on somebody's part.
Right.
But if there isn't, we want to have you also report back potential language that would be then added to our normal contracts when there is stuff that has to be hauled away.
Understood, thank you.
Okay, good. So we have two, yes, it's three. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. And then next I have is Tony Park. I have more to say on this, but I'll let the speakers speak on this.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Usually what I heard, I'm Peter Park's father. Actually, I don't have to say something that much. I heard you guys terminate the contract with the waste dumping over there. By the way, the dumping beginning 3 years ago. When school solar project, most dumping over there, no one remove anything. You can check it out the Google Street View, change the time history, you can find it. And last week, 2 weeks ago, I went to business trip, I back to home, and let you hear this. My home is just like 100 feet away from there. I cannot sleep, I lost my, right to the sleep, and I cannot open the window, anything. I seen that it's not dirt, it's asphalt, or like black things. Even though we have a drone, when I check it out on the sky, I see the dust net inside the school district yard. So many things. They didn't put on anything. That's why I'm really mad. Me and my son and my neighbor, all group project, check it out what's going on. Right now, you told me that terminate the contract and they might be removed everything. Then I'm so happy. That's it. I don't want to say anything.
Thank you, Mr. Park. Well, I think to clarify is that the district said that they had terminated that contract with the developer. Is that correct? In regards to unloading right there?
I apologize. I was looking at their contract as we were speaking.
Okay.
It is our understanding that the school district has terminated or has taken steps to end their contract with the contractor. There may be some period of needed to remove the materials, but that they've taken those steps.
Okay. So, yeah. So it sounds like the school district used this area as a dump site to make money for the last 3 years at least. Is that
around 3 years? Yeah.
My understanding? And then they didn't use it to develop. They just used it to store, I guess, trash or building materials from other cities. I mean, is other cities also, when this contract goes and uses, do they dump it there too, or just us? Do you know?
My understanding that the school district has used it for their own operations primarily as storage for needs for their own equipment. There was reference to the construction of the solar panel installations that had occurred in the district property, so I think it was used as a staging area for that school district project. This is the first that I've heard of them using it for a non-district purpose. But the residents have spoken regarding other uses of the site, other activities occurring at the site.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Park, are you?
Can I ask one thing?
Sure, go ahead.
I'm a company project manager. I work in the West Coast, East Coast, like Boston, New York, everywhere. When I get a construction project, we always call the waste bin, dump everything, recycle company. City has, when city got a project, you guys call the waste contract or not? That's my curious question. Like asphalt, when they take it out the asphalt, I believe they have to be dumping the right location.
Okay, since you're asking me, I'll ask the staff because they won't respond unless I ask.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This type of construction, again, the materials must be taken to the appropriate dump site, appropriate waste station. This is not a material that can be simply located in someone's backyard or in an empty field. It needs to be disposed of properly and according to the laws of California. The contractor must prove to us, show us their tickets as to when they arrive at those locations and show that the material was placed at those appropriate locations. That's the end location of their dump, if you will. Our trash contract could not haul this quantity of material. So the removals of this pavement is completely borne upon and is the responsibility of the contractor that removes it and transports it to its final resting location.
Thank you. It does sound like Councilmember Barrow said, there's a loophole. There's no, unless there's no clause in our contract, it sounds like if they just end it somewhere, but it doesn't say a time frame or how long they can store it somewhere and so forth. I mean, that's something we definitely need to address with our future contracts, because the loophole is, well, we're going to fulfill that contract. We'll give you that receipt 30 days from now or 6 months from now. And in the meantime, we're going to store it in people's backyards, in a sense. So I think that's something, and thank you, Councilman Barrows, for adding that, and I think that's something we'll address. My frustration right now, I'm feeling it from hearing all of you speak. I just can't believe it's been going on for this long. Thank you for bringing it forward to our council so we can be made aware of this. I don't think staff was aware of this too early on. I know we just received an email from your son with all the signatures. And so our staff addressed it as fast as they could. And that's why they were able to provide an answer today. So our attention to this matter is hopefully going to be swift. And then you will get some information back from our staff.
Right away. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you. All right, next speaker is going to be Sam Desai.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, staff, and friends. I would like to start with what we heard. These contractors and what they did. These contractors did exactly what you have been doing. Mr. Barrows, Mr. Vo, and Mr. Solanki, when you hear it, not caring about the rules, using loopholes for self-serving purposes. When the resident came and said you did not know anything, that made me realize that you really don't know what is going on with your own residents. You claimed, sir, that social media is your tool. Cerritos Council elections, Cerritos Town Hall, Cerritos Neighborhood Facebook pages had that story. What would have happened if they didn't show up? Self-serving, using loopholes. That's exactly what this council is teaching our contractors to get away with it. Elections were supposed to happen in November. Your decisions, and I checked, no legal requirements were there. You just don't care about rules. And then you sit here and you give these orders to people who work for you, work with you, and expect them to take you seriously. Think about it for a second. Last time when I came here, I made a request for a consent calendar item to be removed. We are given 3 minutes to speak. We used to have 5 minutes. In name of efficiency, you, sir, and your council decided we only deserve 3 minutes. 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 3 min And when we asked to remove something from consent calendar, you said no. You know what I was talking for 3 minutes about? All the controversies that you guys bring on our shoulders. We want our 5 minutes back. Please reconsider it. I really want to know one thing, Mr. Vo. Who told you to go to that meeting? Someone informed you or called you to go to a meeting where you were not supposed to go, sir. It was on the record. And in that meeting, there is a roll call that happens when city staff shows up. Do we have the copies of the roll call for the first day you went and every meeting you attended? Because it's important that the protocols have been followed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Desai. All right. With that, I have no more speakers listed. Anyone who would like to address the council that hasn't signed up, come on up. We just ask that you sign up afterwards, please. Go on.
Good evening, Council. My name is Maran Babu, and I am a youth representative of Cerritos. Recently, I have come to know that there is a massive issue regarding the safety of our students at Whitney High and at the ABC district. The main issue I'm talking about is regarding bomb threats and gun violence. In the past 2 years, there have been 2 consecutive bomb threats that have been regarding Whitney High School. While I do believe that the sheriff's office has taken adequate protection against my school, I do want to know what protocols have been taken in order to prevent future threats occurring. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public want to address the council? Anybody would like to address the council? All right.
Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council, prior to the meeting, the council and agency received full text and unredacted copies of the 3 written comments submitted for this meeting by the deadline listed on the agenda. Requests for copies of the written comments can be made to the office of the city clerk treasurer during regular business hours.
Thank you for that. And then if there's no other comments, I'm going to go ahead and close public comments and move on to item number 7.
Move approval of the consent calendar.
Second?
All right, we got a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Council and Agency Member Barrows.
Aye.
Council and Agency Member Johnson.
Aye.
Council and Agency Member Yokoyama. Council and Agency Member Yokoyama. Council and Agency Member Yokoyama, can you hear us from the council chamber? And at this time, we will note Council and Agency Member Yokoyama absent for the record. And Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Vo.
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 3-0 with 1 absence. Councilmember Yokoyama.
Thank you. Moving on to item 8, public hearings. We have none. So moving on to item number 9, new and old business. We'll start with 9A. City Manager, you have a report, please.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. Item 9A comes back to the City Council at your direction. It's a consideration of a potential memorial bench program. This item, at your direction, was presented to the Parks and Recreation Commission for discussion, and their recommendation and information regarding the idea, it will be presented by Mr. Carey. Following his presentation, he and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. The item before you this evening was initiated, as Robert mentioned, by City Council consensus, and is an opportunity to review the potential and feasibility of a memorial bench program for potential implementation within the city's parks. The presentation this evening is intended to facilitate a discussion on whether there is a need for a memorial bench program and whether such a program is something that the city should pursue further. The written staff report that you've been provided includes a list of items that are intended to provide general background on some of the factors that you may wish to take into account when considering the overall feasibility of a memorial bench program.
Those items can also serve as potential foundational points for the future development of a policy should the council wish to move forward. In reviewing a potential program, the City Council may wish to consider the overall need in the community, particularly in light of the city's existing memorial tree planting program, which does allow for patrons to honor and commemorate deceased loved ones with the planting of a tree in a park facility. The City Council may also wish to take into account any potential impacts, including potential fiscal impacts, impacts on the overall aesthetics and functionality of the city's parks, and impacts on staff resources that the program may have. To close, the question for the council's consideration this evening is twofold. First, what is the City Council's pleasure regarding the implementation of a memorial bench program? Excuse me. And second, should the City Council wish to move forward, are the parameters established within the staff report a suitable starting point for the formulation of a policy, or are there additional items that the council would like to recommend for inclusion? Should the City Council elect to move forward with the program, it is staff's recommendation that a formal policy be drafted that outlines all of the provisions and procedures associated with the program, including such things as eligibility requirements, costs, and logistical items such as the location and style of benches and the number of benches that would be permitted. And that policy would ultimately be subject to the council's review and approval prior to implementation. I would like to add, as Robert noted, that this item was presented to the Parks and Recreation Commission for their consideration on August 1st. Following discussion, the commission recommended that the program be moved forward for your consideration this evening. That concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the council have any comments, questions?
Thank you, Ryan, for the report. Appreciate it. I also watched the meeting of the Parks and Recreations Commission and familiar with the discussions that they had. I have 3 questions. What is the cost of the memorial tree program to the applicant?
There is no cost to residents who contact the city with an interest in the memorial tree planting program.
Okay, thanks. And approximately how many trees, memorial trees, are in the program as of today?
Yeah, I had
Approximate.
I believe the estimate I heard from our park superintendent when we discussed this earlier was approximately 50, and that's over the course of the last 25 years or so.
Okay, thanks. And one last, what is the average cost range of a bench of the bench, installation, and including placement of a plaque?
We did do some preliminary research into that question while we were preparing the staff report, just to get some, working background on that. And it looks like the cost, depending on the style of the bench that ultimately is chosen and those type of factors, would be between $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay. Including the installation?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Bruce, anything? All right. If that's it, I'll open it up to public comments. Anyone that'd like to speak on this matter, please go ahead and come forward. If you have not signed up, we just ask that you do it afterwards. And just because you haven't signed up, if you can just let us know who you are so we know who's talking to us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening, City Council and community. My name is Emily Iverson, and I'm here to deliver Courtney Bankhead's speech on her behalf. Unfortunately, she is sick and couldn't make it tonight, but this is her speech that I'm reading. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. I'm here to discuss the proposed implementation of a memorial bench program throughout our city, with a particular focus on honoring my beloved twin sister, Chelsea Bankhead, at her favorite park in Cerritos, Friendship Park. In February of 2023, my world changed forever when Chelsea passed away at just 27 years old. Since birth, Chelsea had been nonverbal, autistic with mild to moderate deafness, and from the age of 12, also non-ambulatory. She communicated via sign language with family and her peers. Chelsea was an extraordinary individual with a sweet soul. Despite her challenges, she radiated a pure, unwavering joy that touched everyone who knew her. One of the many enduring joys for Chelsea was our trips to Friendship Park, which began when we were young kids. Our connection to Friendship Park started when our parents purchased our family home in the neighborhood in 1991. Early on, Dad discovered the park through opening a post box at the Cerritos post office. Some of my earliest memories are filled with countless hours my brother, sister, and I spent at Friendship after a trip to the post office. Even after Chelsea lost her ability to walk once we were young teenagers, her spirit soared every time we visited the park, which with her autism was a daily occurrence. This park became a cornerstone of our family life, creating precious memories that we cherish deeply. For Chelsea, the park was her haven. It was where she often felt most alive and connected. I remember the way she would light up as we strolled around the lap course. The park with its playground, open grassy fields, and a couple tables for family gatherings was a place where others also found serenity. These memories were so core to our family life, moments that we now hold onto as memories. In fact, at Chelsea's memorial service, we printed a few photos of Chelsea and posted them onto easels. One of those photos was Chelsea being pushed by my dad around the lap course at Friendship. It's a photo I've also passed out here tonight. And so this is why I'm here today. In light of the profound significance Friendship Park holds for us, I respectfully request the City Council to approve a memorial bench program. This program would not only enable the installation of a commemorative bench with a small plaque in Chelsea's memory, it also advances what I believe to be a crucial opportunity for the city of Cerritos, serving as a benchmark for other families in the community looking to remember loved ones here in a tangible way. In an ideal scenario, imagine walking through Friendship Park and discovering a spot where you can sit and reminisce, feeling the presence of a cherished loved one, allowing memories to linger. For my family, this bench would serve as a place to fondly recall Chelsea's smile, her laughter, and indomitable spirit. For others, it could symbolize the enduring power of love and family, whatever that means to them, while also reminding our community of the ties that bind us. This bench would be her living memory and just about the best gift a twin can give to her sister's legacy.
Goodbye.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. All right, and just a reminder, please fill out the iPad right there. Thank you. David, do you want to speak?
I was present at the August 1st Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, and I believe Chelsea's presentation was an 8-minute presentation. The chair of that commission did not ask her to stop. The commission was very moved by her presentation. It was worth every second of the 8 minutes that she spoke. What I got out of the responses from the commissioners on that night, Linda has shared with us that she was there. I'm not sure whether either of you were able to watch the replay, but there were a couple of issues that I'm sure are in the staff report. I am not opposed to the concept of this. I believe it would be a good thing to pursue, to investigate. I'm not sure whether implementing it would work out real well. One of the things I was personally concerned about it is the eligibility list and how the eligibility list would exist. And I think that's a dangerous area for us to wade into. And those are my thoughts.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to speak on this subject? Okay, and do we have any written correspondence on this? Rita?
We did receive written correspondence, and that was not read into the record, but we did acknowledge it and was distributed to the City Council earlier.
All right, thank you. All right, if that's no more than public comments, I'll close public comments and bring it back to the council. Council, like to speak on this?
I'd like to. I made the motion to consider this. Thank you. So I made the motion to.
You just turned it off.
This.
Don't touch it. I got it.
You got it. Okay. But yeah, so I touched it one more time. Ms. Bankhead and I had a very long conversation back when she first called City Hall. And she wanted to talk to the mayor at the time. And I remember I sat in my car at Home Depot for probably 45, 50 minutes going over all this. And as I think I shared, one, I think it's a good idea to look at it and Kathy, I think we looked at the expenses, and they were around $1,200-1,500 for the bench. And we were talking, and what Ms. Bank had talked about is that, she thought it's a good thing for them to pay for the bench. The upkeep would be us at that point. And since I do have sciatica and stenosis, I walk with a cane most of the time, not 100%, but if I walk any distance, I do keep it. And walking through our parks, there is not very many benches to sit on. And so obviously we can't put them everywhere. But, I think if we were to sit down and look at it, analyze it, I think one of the things is that if the memorial is going to be paid for by friends and family, it's going to restrict, the amount of them. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit of extra work on our part, but I think there's a need that we need to have more benches because as our population is aging, I see more and more people having difficulty walking. And it's kind of like why we have a lot of handicap type ramps on the corners, like, in front of my house. It's been there for probably, 15, 20 years now. It's been redesigned 2-3 times, based on federal requirements. But, to me, I would like to have this go back, have staff look at sample policies in place, throughout the state and or the nation through listserv, for the California League of Cities, and same thing with the National League of Cities, and see if we can find samples that we can look at. The cost of 3 to 5 that's a lot of extra money over the quotes that we had based on potential installation cost. But I would like to see an analysis and see samples of ordinances or policies in place, from other cities that have done the work. And I'd love to have our council recommend tonight to have this go back to the Planning Commission with staff recommendations more fleshed out, research done, and then have it come back to us. And I know the deadline that Ms. Bankhead has is the memorial date on the death of her sister. She'd love to be able to have a bench in place by then. And Ryan, did she get her tree installed?
Yes, I do understand that our Parks Division was able to have a tree installed for her at the park earlier this year.
Because I know that was one of the things she's trying to get both of them done at the same time. And of course, I told her there's no way in the world we'll get this done quick enough, for a policy. But I think here we are in August. If we can somehow get this done in time for, if it is approved, to have a bench ordered, because I assume it's going to be concrete, and have it made, and have the policy in place so that it can be done in time for that date. That she's seeking. Thank you.
Anybody else?
So thank you for speaking on behalf of Courtney, and I also want to thank Courtney for submitting a written comment and also for her presentation that she provided to the Parks and Recreations Commission. I think it's a wonderful way to remember a loved one. Cerritos currently has a program to remember our loved ones, and it's the Memorial Tree Program. This program is free and has very minimal fiscal impact to the city. Cerritos is recognized as a tree city, therefore placement of memorial trees fit within the aesthetics of the city. Memorial Bench Program duplicates what the Memorial Tree Program already provides. It's a location within the city where there is a place to remember a loved one. My concerns would be the fiscal impact. Even if we were to approve a memorial bench program that would be funded solely by the applicant, benches cost more than trees. It's not just the purchase, but the issue of maintenance costs, replacement costs, damaged or stolen costs, vandalism, as well as administrative costs. Such a program would clearly need an endowment program to address future maintenance of a memorial bench. The aesthetics is also concerning. The city currently has benches that are strategically placed in our city. I support more benches. However, a memorial benches may impact aesthetics of our city, especially if the bench is identified as a memorial bench with a plaque that has the name of a person. As much as we want to honor and remember a loved one that has passed, we also want to maintain the mission and vision of the city, which includes our goal of having a park-like environment. And homelessness is really at the top of my list. We all know that our unhoused individuals utilize the benches as a place to stay. We already have a low rate of unhoused individuals, and I feel that the addition of benches would be a great concern, especially at our parks. So at this time, I'm not inclined to support a memorial bench program. But again, I want to thank staff for the report, and I want to thank Courtney Bankhead for wanting to remember her sister with a bench. Thank you.
All right. With that, Frank, are you there? Do you want to comment, or he's not there? Okay. All right. So does council have a motion on this item?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay. Is there,
as I stated earlier.
and that what is when you say a motion to approve it, to approve what?
To do some research, bring back, more specific costs, other policies that are in place in other cities, whether they're in California or through the National League of Cities.
And if I may, council members, we do have information in the recommendation section of the report that if there's interest in pursuing the program, staff can present any additional information or research to the city's policy and procedure ad hoc working group, as well as a potential draft policy if the council would like, prior to presenting anything back to the complete city council.
Then if it is the will of this council, I know how I'm going to vote, but if it is the will of this council to move forward, I would recommend an endowment program.
Do you want to make
It's
that?
it's not part of the motion at this time.
Okay. So no amendment to that. All right. So that's a motion. I'll second that. And with that, any more discussions? All right. So we have a roll call vote, please.
Council and Agency Member Barrows.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Johnson.
No.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama. And I believe he is noted absent for the record. And Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Vo.
Aye.
And so we have a motion of 2-1, and I will defer to the city attorney for interpretation of the vote.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk and members of the council. This item is strictly a city item that has no restrictions on requiring a majority of the legislative body. And so the vote would pass because it only requires a majority of those present and voting.
All right. Thank you. So let's move on to item 9B. Robert?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. Item 9B is an annual action taken by the City Council to review the public meeting schedule for the upcoming calendar year and to know any potential revisions. The item this evening will be presented by City Clerk Vita Barone, and following her presentation, city staff would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. Before you tonight is the proposed 2025 City Council and Successor Agency public meeting schedule. As an annual practice, the council and agency reviews its meeting schedule for the upcoming year in preparation for the production of the Cerritos Community Calendar. City staff has reviewed next year's regular meeting schedule and proposed certain modifications where date conflicts exist due to city-related business events and conferences for which dates are known at this time. In addition to the traditional cancellation of the second meetings in November and December due to the city-observed Thanksgiving and Christmas Day holidays, Cancellation and rescheduling of the Thursday, April 24th, 2025 regular meeting is recommended due to the League of California Cities City Leaders Summit to be held April 22nd through 24th in Sacramento. It is recommended that the council and agencies select either Monday, April 21st or Monday, April 28th as an alternate meeting date. Cancellation of the Thursday, October 9th, 2025 regular meeting is also recommended due to the League of California Cities Annual Conference, Expo, and Business Meeting to be held October 8th through 10th in Long Beach, California. As events are also held in the evening with many staff and elected officials anticipated to be in attendance, it is recommended the meeting be rescheduled to Monday, October 13th. There is no financial impact with regard to approval of the 2025 public meeting schedule. Funds for the conduct of anticipated regular and special meetings are included in each fiscal year's adopted financial program. And at this time, my report will conclude, and it is recommended the City Council review, discuss, and receive public comment on the proposed modifications to the 2025 City Council Successor Agency public meeting schedule, and specifically provide direction on the proposed modifications, including whether the April 21st or 28th date is preferred in place of the April 24th regular meeting. Once all modifications are determined, the City Council and Successor Agency should vote to approve the schedule in its entirety. This concludes my report, and myself and city staff are available to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you. Any questions from council? All right, no questions. Open up to public comments. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll close public comments. I don't believe there's any written correspondence for this, right?
That is correct. We did not receive any.
Thank you. All right, I'll bring it back to council for recommendations and a vote, and a motion, I should say. Any particular date for April?
If I could, I prefer April 21st. I don't know what the other council members want to do.
Okay. Recommendation for April 21st. Any objection to that? I don't hear any, so I believe April 21st would be a go. And then so all the other dates are pretty much fixed. So do we have a motion to approve the recommendation with the April 21st date?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. So that's the motion to approve everything with the inclusion of April 21st. Roll call vote, please. Actually, do we?
Council Agency Member Barrows?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Johnson?
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama, I believe, is still absent. And Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Vo?
Aye.
The motion passes by a vote of 3-0 with one absence.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 9C. Robert, please report.
Thank you. Item 9C is a report on the launch of the city's new website. This has been a long effort involving all city departments and city staff, working in collaboration with the IT ad hoc working group. And I'm thankful to everyone's very hard work and dedication in getting the city's new website ready for launch in the very near future. The presentation this evening will begin with Mr. Schneider, and he and his team will go through details of the new website. And following their presentation, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. Tonight, I'm pleased to present our new website. This effort began on April 28, 2022, when the City Council authorized a contract with GHD Digital. This was the start of a comprehensive transformation of our city's digital presence, impacting not just one, but several key websites that serve as the virtual gateways to our community. From this homepage, residents, businesses, and visitors can quickly access the most frequently accessed elements of the site. The information you need is at your fingertips. As you can see on the homepage, you can immediately access agendas minutes, contact the city, find out about jobs and other opportunities, pay your water bill, access permits, register for a class through our Eraser system, or report an issue, along with a drop-down menu at the top that goes through each of the many elements that were traditionally accessed by members of the community. Over the past 2 years, we've seen the fruits of these efforts with the successful launch of several updated websites. In December 2022, we unveiled the new Cerritos Center for the Performing Arts website, followed by the refreshed Cerritos Library site in August of 2023, and most recently, the revamped Shop Cerritos site in February of 2024. From the outset, our goal was clear: to develop websites that are not only visually stunning, but also incredibly user-friendly, intuitive, and accessible on any device. We envision a digital space where information is not just available, but easily accessible, organized in a way that makes sense, with a look and feel that reflects the vibrant and dynamic community we are proud to be part of. From this page, residents can quickly look up available classes, get registered for the program they're choosing, or find out how to volunteer to support our amazing programs.
So, what can we expect from the new website? A stunning contemporary design that's consistent across all city sites, featuring our newly adopted rebranding scheme that unifies and strengthens the city's visual identity. Content has been completely rewritten, reorganized, and redesigned to be clearer, more concise, and always current, making it easier than ever to find the information that you need. This page highlights the information we have integrated from the external partners in a visually compelling, thematic, and informative manner. On the screen is a subsection of our business and development vertical, which gives businesses additional information when choosing Cerritos. In an effort to be more informative and user-friendly, the city has put major focus on modern web practices that enhance navigation and engagement with city services, including a streamlined homepage that's designed to keep you informed of the latest updates. This page highlights the integrated links and quick reference bar, allowing users to quickly navigate to the information they need without excess scrolling. On the screen, residents can easily follow the process of applying for a residential permit or planning approval. As with our residents, businesses in Cerritos can expect some positive changes. Enhanced business resources. The new website will feature a dedicated section for businesses offering streamlined access to resources, permitting information, and economic development programs. This will make it easier for local businesses to navigate city services, encouraging growth and investment within the community. From this page, users can quickly find out how to apply for various permits, verify zoning, and how to access various city services dedicated to our business communities. Diving deeper into the business side of Cerritos.gov, why Cerritos? The new website highlights the Cerritos as the perfect destination for businesses by showcasing the city's prime location with easy access to major transportation hubs and freeways. It also emphasizes the availability of diverse office, commercial, and industrial spaces, making it an attractive option for businesses of all sizes. The site underscores the abundance of local talent, top-rated schools, and high quality of life that makes Cerritos a thriving community. Additionally, the website details the city's robust physical and digital infrastructure, ensuring that businesses have all the resources they need to succeed. On the screen are some of the many offerings that the City of Cerritos provides to potential new businesses. At this time, I would like to premiere a short video that will help attract businesses to the city. Moving on. The updated design of the new website will feature responsive web design that ensures seamless access whether you're on a desktop, tablet, or smartphone. Top-tier security and accessibility standards, including full ADA compliance, that everyone can interact with our city online safely and easily. And finally, an updated domain name, Cerritos.gov, which aligns with California's government site mandate set to take effect in 2029. These pages show how the Cerritos.gov and Safer Cerritos websites scale easily across all devices. Pictured here are easy ways for residents to join the Neighborhood Watch program and gather additional information on the Cerritos landscape and trees.
Content of our new website is designed to evolve. The content of our new website is designed to evolve continuously, reflecting new announcements, updates, and services. Our websites will remain living resources that grow and adapt over time, driven by your feedback and the ever-changing needs of our community. This page here highlights the ease of accessing current and previous news stories, business spotlights, and information regarding events. Thank you for the opportunity to highlight the exciting new features of our new sites. We're confident these new digital tools will not only meet but exceed your expectations, making it easier than ever to connect with the City of Cerritos. Residents, businesses, and visitors will have the opportunity to provide feedback through our online forum or reaching out to our communications team. So featured here is one of our easy contact forms that are integrated into the new site. It's one of the areas where we'll be continuing to adapt to it. It reflects the look and feel of our site throughout. In conclusion, we're excited to be on the brink of launching these new sites. This project is a great example of what we can achieve when we work together, and is a testament to the city's commitment, under the leadership of our City Council, to provide our community with the highest quality programs and services. I'd like to take a brief moment here to thank Ms. Hilton, Ms. Kajiwara, Mr. Cunnin, and Mr. Baumgartner for their incredible leadership in this program over the course of the last 3 years. This project has gone through a variety of different evolutions with additional feedback as we moved along, additional feedback from the community, and their leadership is why we are here today. I just want to take a moment to thank them for their incredible efforts in quarterbacking this initiative. With that, we will try again to get to our video here.
The city of Cerritos is one of the Southland's premier commercial crossroads, located midway between the centers of Los Angeles and Orange County. We are home to many national and local firms who chose Cerritos for its high quality of life. We support a diverse and educated workforce with a park-like setting, shopping and dining, and state-of-the-art amenities. When it comes to helping businesses grow, Cerritos is always there to help. Our local ombudsman services and fast-track permitting gets new businesses up and running. Along with some of the lowest fees in California, Cerritos has no local property taxes, no library taxes, and no utility users tax. Our retail and industrial trades flourish in master plan developments like the Cerritos Industrial Park, Cerritos Auto Square, and Cerritos Town Center. Businesses continue to invest in Cerritos because we offer an unparalleled location and a refreshing approach to doing business. For more information, please contact the city's Community Development Department.
Thank you very much. This video highlights the types of videos we'll be able to embed into the new site based upon the technology and capabilities that the site provides, advancing our ability to communicate with our residents, our visitors, and our business community, and highlight why Cerritos is a place to be. With that, I've concluded my presentation, and Andrew and I stand by to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Drew. Any questions or comments from council for staff?
Yes, I have a couple of questions. Thank you. That was a wonderful presentation, and I'm excited. I've gone through the CCPA website as well, and I love it. I love the look. Just a couple of questions. On the page where, regarding public artwork, it says there that there will be a map available. And on the map, would it be able to include the artist's name and date of installation?
Yeah, we can look into that for you.
Oh,
No
okay.
problem. Yeah.
All right, thank you. And one last thing, I love that the button to click on for the agenda is just right there on the front page. However, on searches, does the website have the capability of a resident to be able to research an agenda item through a search button and then bring it up on what agenda it may have come up on? I know the Board of Supervisors, they do that on their website where you can type in Metro or something like that, and it'll bring up all the agenda items in the past that were discussion about Metro.
I think we're going to defer to Ms. Barone for this answer.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. Thank you, Councilmember Johnson, for your question. The city's third-party administrator software that we use, Granicus, is going to port over to this website, and there is a search feature currently where you can type in keywords, and it should bring up anything with that keyword. You can do that now, and you should be able to do it with the new website.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for all your work. Really appreciate it.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, I'll go ahead and open up public comments on this item. Anyone like to speak on this? And I don't believe we have any written correspondence. Oh, wait, we have one person. And again, if you can just state your name and then afterwards fill out a speaker request.
I can do that.
Thank you.
So Lance Woolley, resident here of Cerritos. I want to say this is a long time coming. I'm glad to see it's happening. I've lived here for 12 years, and I've been waiting for 12 years to see this happen, right? We're all in agreement on that, right? So the one question I have, and seeing that this is making the kind of progress that we need to see it make, is what are we going to do so we don't repeat the last problem where the Cerritos website was a phenomenal website when it was first set up previously, right? And then years go by, and it became very not advanced, not cutting edge. So what are we going to put in place this time so we can keep it moving forward and not turn into another, oh, this is 15 years old again? Anyhow, I just want to add that question to the conversation. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to highlight on that question, and I'll have staff correct me, but I know we've contracted to a third party that does this program and provide this service. And it's an ongoing contract where they'll be providing updates and so forth, and they'll be assisting our staff in those updates as they identify issues that may come up. And staff, if you want to add to that.
That's correct, Mayor Pro Tem. Not only do we have an ongoing contract for service with this particular website provider, we've done extensive training with our staff to ensure that they understand the importance of maintaining the fluidity of the site, the look and feel of the site, making sure that information remains accessible. And we continuously, the communication team will continue to monitor closely to make sure that information is available in the most accessible way possible and meets the needs of our ongoing needs of our users.
Thank you. And with that, any comments from council? Actually, before I do that, I guess I didn't close public comments yet. Any other members from the public want to speak? This is your time. Like questions and suggestions like that was good. Anybody else? All right, I'm going to close public comments and bring it back to council.
Thank you. I'd like to address that question. If we go back to 2008, in that time period, we're during a recession. Along with some other laws that were passed that went ahead and reduced the amount of income to the city. Council during that time period and the ensuing years wanted, to update it. But, we had to go ahead and reduce our staff. We had to, by attrition, go through a lot of changes. I know since I've been back on council, these last little over 4 years, the council is aggressive at trying to go ahead and update, a number of things. And this is one of the issues. Fortunately, finances are a little bit better today than they have been in quite a number of years. So you're seeing a website that's being updated, and there's still a very good list of things that need to be done to continue that process. So my suspicion is you're going to see a fair number of changes to this in the ensuing months and years to come. But I think we all agree it needed it. And when originally we did win a lot of national honors on our web page, and things got away from us, but it didn't mean our staff didn't care, and didn't mean the council didn't care, because I think it was unanimous amongst all the council members to have this happen. I want to thank the staff for all the work that they've done. I've been very fortunate to be on the committee that was looking at this, and even though we all agree that there's more that has to be done, we're excited to see what's coming and the progress that has been made. And Robert, this is under your responsibility now, so congratulations, for overseeing the staff that's done the work on it. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. You have any comments? Okay. All right. So yes, I would like to add some comments too. It has been a long time, but just know that staff has been working on it actively for the last 2-3 years, because I know that I've been part of that committee as well, and I know we wanted to get it not perfect, but right, and so that's why it took some time. There's a lot of going back and forth, making sure that we provided the resources that our city, our community wanted and needed. Looking at that website, it's refreshing, it's new, it's young. I like it. And then the video that you just showed, thank you for doing that. That to me is so impressive, and I want to say that was all done by our staff. Is that correct? And all the way to the voice of that was very, very well narrated. And so I didn't realize we had a voice like that on staff, and I think that should be the voice that speaks all the time. So thank you for that. And while I'm watching it, the whole time I'm thinking about how far we've gone from the videos, or actually the still videos, still pictures, videos of still pictures, and now we have motion, we have action, and it's refreshing. So thank you, staff, for all you've done. I think you've captured the vision of not just the community, but the council here, and you've done it really well and exceptional. I know this is a living document website. It'll continue to evolve as things come up, and because we have that third-party contract and the training, and we can move forward with not just one website, but an evolving website. And we're always welcome feedback from the public. It doesn't stop just because we have it now. And then when do we plan on making this live?
Our goal is to go live next week.
Great. So our residents can look forward to it. I'm sure by that time, if we can make an announcement through social media and so forth, it's live, and that way, and then we get a count, right? How many people actually open up that website? Is there like a count system for that? Is that something that our contract allows for? I want to say yes.
I'm looking at Mr. Benjamin. He's concurring yes.
Yeah, I want to say that was something that I think the contractor was saying they were able to follow. So, but thank you so much. And with that, should we entertain a motion?
Move to approve.
All right.
Second.
We have motion and second. Roll call vote, please.
And this would be a motion to receive and file. Council Agency Member Barrows.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Johnson.
Aye.
Council Agency Member Yokoyama. Noted absent for the record, Mayor Pro Tem and Vice Chair Vo.
Aye.
And the motion passes 3-0 with one absence.
All right. Thank you. Going on to item number 10, legislative items. Anything to report?
Yes, thank you. For legislative items, we do not have any items to report this evening on either 10A or 10B.
Thank you. And moving on to item 11, reports from the city manager.
Thank you. This evening I have just one item. It's a bittersweet announcement. I'd like to note the pending departure of our very own Acting Director of Public Works, Dario Somoz. Mr. Somoz has announced that he is moving on to a new opportunity at another agency, and we're very excited for him. But we're also sad to see him go, as he's been an integral part of our team for many, many years. He began with the city over 20 years ago as an intern and an engineering aide in our Public Works Department, went on to work for various different agencies, and came back to us in 2016 as our Assistant City Engineer. And in the last several years, Mr. Somoz has done a tremendous amount of work in leading the engineering team in an unprecedented capital improvement program. A lot of building construction, certainly a lot of streets, lane miles throughout the community, and just wanted to thank him for his years of service to Cerritos and wish him well in his new adventure. And with that, I'd like to turn the microphone over to Mr. Somoz to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez, for the kind words. As Mr. Lopez stated, I've enjoyed a lot of the work that I've done here. I believe I've done some quality work. I'm very proud of it. It's a little bittersweet for myself to be leaving. I enjoyed very much my time here, but I look forward to some new opportunities. So I'd like to thank all the residents their patience with all the construction work that we've done. I know at times it's very frustrating and very annoying to deal with all the delays that I want to say personally caused, but it's all been for the greater good, believe it or not. And I'm really proud of being able to serve the residents and the council in the time that I've been here. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
Are you finished?
That is all I have to report this evening, sir.
Thank you. And does the council want to say a few words?
Yes. Thank you, Dario, for your service to the city and especially to our residents. You know, we are the policymakers here, but under your direction, you've actually made so many improvements to our city and beautified the city. And like I said, whenever I see the orange cones, I am happy because that means that's a lot of work that's being done by you and your staff there. So I'm gonna miss you. You always made me look good because when there was issues, you would always address them. So I personally want to thank you for your service to the city, to our residents, and for all that you have done these past few years. Best wishes to you on your new endeavors, and I'll be following you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's, you know, I just thinking back that, you know, this is your second time leaving us, so, but, you know, you went out and gained a lot of experience. You came back, shared it with the city, and I think our residents been blessed. The one thing I know about our city is our staff is considered one of the very best city staffs, not just in LA County, but throughout, you know, the whole state. I've had more comments come about our city whenever I've been, you know, traveling to other cities, conferences and things over the years. It's always been consistent about our city being so well respected. And it's not just one department. I mean, I've had departments picked out, you know, and the type of work that you've done. You know, Linda alluded to the fact that, you know, the orange cones that are around, you know, the projects that are going on. I want to thank you for your service and wish you well for your, you know, future endeavors. I know you're going to a bigger city and you're going to have some different opportunities to grow and learn, you know, there too. But don't stay a stranger. If you learn something new that we need, you know, share it with us too. But thank you again.
Well, Dario, I hate to see you go. You've served this city far, far past any expectations of anybody up here. You've done an outstanding job. You provided input. You provided public you comfort when they call because they may be upset, they may have questions, and you are always able to explain the reasons why we, the city, and yourself, you do what you had to do for the betterment of this community. I know when the first time we kind of really talked and hit it off was talking about, you know, camping, RVing, and so forth. And I just know that that's a topic that both you and I can't stop talking about when we see each other. And we just go on and on and on and on and on and on. And I enjoy those conversations. I'm not going to miss it because I know that, you know, you're just a phone call away. I'm hoping you don't change your number. And my number is also there if you need anything on this side. So I want to thank you for your service. Again, I hate to see you go, but I understand, you know, you're moving on, and that's a personal decision on your part. But I still hate that you're leaving. But I'm happy for you. I hope that anything and everything you do from this point forward is going to, you know, impact your life in a positive way. And like Councilmember Barrow said, you know, it's not impossible for you not to come back a third time. So hopefully, you know, I know we're going to run into each other more often than not because you're not that far away, and I know I'll be calling you for advice and so forth. So congratulations to you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you, council members. Appreciate it.
And that's all for the report on your end. Thank you. Moving on to 11B, City Council Communications. I'll start with Linda. Would you like to go first?
Thank you. I quite a bit. On August 1, I attended the Cal Cities installation event where we thanked outgoing President B. Derringer for her year of service, and we installed incoming President Dr. Michael Cal. On August 2nd, I met with Dina Henry, the property management director of the Los Cerritos Center. She also oversees Lakewood and Stonewood centers. I've worked with Dina in the past and was glad to reconnect with her, and I look forward to future collaborations with her and our city. On August 5th, I attended the Pat Benatar performance at the CCPA. It certainly was a full house, and I was glad to see so many patrons enjoying the show. August 7th, I attended an event hosted by Congresswoman Michelle Steele, where she recognized nonprofit organizations. Congratulations to the Cerritos, Friends of the Library, and the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce in Cerritos on being recognized. August 8th, I was at the National Night Out event at Heritage Park. I was glad to see so many of our employees and their families enjoying the event. Thank you to our Cerritos Sheriff deputies, Captain Strong, Daryl Evans, and our VOPs for their hard work and dedication in keeping our community safe. I want to thank Sherry for her great event. I especially love the band and the hamburger food truck and hope they will return next year. On August 9th, we met again with Congresswoman Michelle Steele as she presented a check to the cities of Cerritos, Lakewood, La Palma, and Cypress for the expansion of the Del Amo Bridge project. On August 10th through the 12th, I was in Loveland, Colorado with Assistant City Manager Kathy Matsumoto, Director of Community and Cultural Services Annie Hilton, and Fine Arts and Historical Commissioners CJ Villaluna and Kelly Colby. We were all very fortunate to be able to meet several artists, including Jane DeDecker, who has a few sculptures in our city and who was also chosen to create our new upcoming cow sculpture. We also met with Ted Shaw, who created the Mirage piece at the Sculpture Garden, and I think that was a piece that actually kicked off his career. And we also met with artist Gary Aslam, who is almost finished with our first responder piece. And we also met with John Kincaid, who is the founder and director of the National Sculptors Guild. He took us on an exclusive tour of a couple of the foundries where we got to see how pieces go through the whole process from start to finish, starting with the molds to the pouring of the metal and to the finishing of the sculpture. It was really amazingly, and honestly, it gave me a better appreciation for the artwork we have in our city. We were even invited to the home of Jane DeDecker, which is also her studio, where she has a studio in her home, where we actually saw the miniature clay model she's working on for our cow sculpture. I really want to thank Kathy Matsumoto for putting this visit together for us. Because of the many years that Kathy has been involved with the Guild in Loveland, she has built relationships with John Kincaid and the artists. It was really interesting to hear stories from 30 years ago with many of the artists. It was really, you can tell that they were very thankful and appreciative to the city of Cerritos for our interests in the arts. Had it not been for the relationship with Kathy has with the Guild, we would all have not received the special treatment that we experience. In fact, I saw a piece at the foundry that belonged to the city of Paramount, and I immediately texted John Moreno, the city manager over in Paramount, and told him he needs to get to Loveland. So it's my hope we continue our Arts in Public Places program and that we have many more opportunities to bring more art pieces to our city, which I hope includes another Chihuly. And we did miss you, Bruce. We're sorry that you couldn't join us, but I was thinking of you the whole time, how much you would have enjoyed that. Last night, I attended, along with Daryl Evans and two of my Community Safety Committee members, the Contract Cities Board of Directors meeting hosted by the LA County Sheriff's Department Contract Law Enforcement Bureau. As always, this is a great event put on by the Sheriff's Department, and to hear updates about what LASD is doing to address concerns on public safety issues. And last, on August 17, again, I was at the CCPA and watched a performance by Joss Stone. She has a huge following, and for most of the show, people were standing and dancing to the music. I'm very impressed with this year's lineup at the CCPA, and so I'm pleased to see that their social media presence has also really expanded. I think there are a few weeks where I'll be there 3 nights on a row, like a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you guys have not bought your tickets, go buy them now. They are selling quick. I watch the page every once in a while, how many tickets are being bought. So thank you for that. And that's the end of my report.
All right. Thank you, Bruce.
Linda, I was glad you had a chance to go, and our commissioners that attended, because
incredible.
It's hard to comprehend the amount of steps are involved, the amount of employees involved, to make a piece. And when you look at this, all came out of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Mark Morial, when he was mayor of New Orleans, before he moved up within the Conference of Mayors, he pointed out that virtually every city in the nation has gone back to use art to help rebuild the city after the cities go through a growth period, like a honeymoon period, and then it gets 20, 30, 40 years down the road, and it just takes a lot of work to maintain a city or to rebuild it. And art has always been one of the things that brings all this, to a city. In terms of how to go ahead and generate new income. John Kincaid brings in one thing is that people don't realize is that when you look at an artwork, a piece of it, he's always talked about people that come in, buy a piece of art and just plop it down, and he refers to it as plop art. It doesn't fit in with the city, doesn't fit in with the area, and just coincidentally, we've had articles this week about Irvine and their neighborhood centers. So each neighborhood is uniquely different, and because it was raw ground that they built on, they were able to come up with this other concept. But even the artwork ties into the waterworks like they have around Woodbridge, or Turtle Rock. There's different things. As soon as you drive into them, you're different. And that's how people have always described Cerritos to me, businesses. They knew as soon as you drove into our city, you're in a different city. And the artwork that we have is the same thing. It's pulled a lot of people in. But the most important thing is it's not the fact that we have a council that's originally interested all those years ago. And George Lundine's was the first piece we brought in, the one that we did with, the Nixon, Pat Nixon Park. Some very unique things happened, but these kind of set the stage. So if you go down to Newport Beach, you'll find out that their whole sculpture garden, the idea came from ours. Their mayor was here visiting 3 or 4 different times, and it all started from a conversation at SCAG. And it's the same thing for a couple of parks. These conversations, what leads to it all. So we can talk about other cities, what they've done, what we've done, but it's something that it pays dividends, and it doesn't cost our taxpayers a dime. And that's probably the most important thing. And since I brought around the money, what I wanted to do is, I have nothing to report. I haven't been on any trips or anything, but if you go to Google and type in the city of Cerritos, and you come down just a little bit, and it talks about questions, what is the median household income and stuff like that. But there's 2 that are in here, and one is I've always heard that people say they pay a lot of property taxes. Most people don't realize we don't get hardly any property tax, and our effective rate is 0.006 according to what's on here. And I'm not disputing that part of it. But it says, what is the Cerritos City tax rate? And I know if I was to ask you and ask Peter, it's going to come out 0, right? Because as far as the last time, I'm not aware of any taxes that we've voted on here.
Yeah, the city, thank you for the question, council member. The city of Cerritos does not levy any local property taxes. We do get an apportionment from LA County, but it is a very, very small fraction of a percentage, really.
Well, and that amount under Prop 13 was that they had to raise us from zero to the amount that we have. But this is a city tax rate. We don't have any sales tax that we have voted on. The amount that's in there is done by the state of California, which is 1% out of the amount that's collected.
That's correct. That's the Bradley Burns tax, the 1% that we local tax that all local agencies in California would receive.
But that's not our tax.
No, it's not an additional like local tax. No, all agencies receive that 1% Bradley Burns tax.
Okay, well, this one here identifies 10.5%. And what I'd like to do is, the council concurs, is to have staff try and get this corrected. Because the one thing is, the Larry Cosmet started a Cosmet surveys of cities, and is how expensive is it for a business to be in a city? And Cerritos has always been one of the 3 lowest cities in the counties in this area. It's now done under Rose Cosmet surveys out of Claremont Colleges. But this one here is misleading, and I don't think people should be misled that, you come here and you got to pay extra 10.5% because that's not us. So I'm asking for concurrence.
I'll give concurrence.
See if we can get this corrected.
Yes.
Okay, and that's all my comments. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so on July 27th, I attended 2 back-to-back neighborhood watch meetings and provided some input and received some questions. Just a quick question. I noticed I've attended a few neighborhood watch during the summer. I know that Mark goes out there. I run into him all the time. One of the things that keeps on being brought up is can we either have a deputy or how come a deputy's not there? Luckily that I'm there, I can provide my input on the public safety side. But is that something that I know we had stopped because Mark came aboard and probably manpower, I understand that well. So is there something that we can maybe do something where we can provide that type of service in the future, or is that something we're not even looking at?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll be happy to answer that. And you're correct, Mark Smith is our community safety officer, but as you know, he's also a retired deputy sheriff. I'd been assigned to Cerritos over 20 years as the watch deputy, so he knows the city intimately, and that's why we send him out there, because of his extensive law enforcement knowledge, and that keeps a deputy sheriff on patrol out available to respond to calls and patrolling the city. We do ask that they come by as the opportunity presents itself if they're not on calls for service, but we do rely on Mark because he is a retired police officer, a deputy sheriff, I should say.
Yeah, and Mark has done an outstanding job every time I'm there. I know he's modified his speech as things come up, and then he'll adapt to it, and he's done a great job. And I just want to say thank you. I let you know that he's representing your office really, really well, and as well as the sheriff's department because of his knowledge as a retiree. So thank you for that. And then on that same day, I attended the Meritorious Marine ceremony or award. And then on August 8th, I also attended the National Night Out. And then August 9th, I also attended and met with Michelle Steele over there at Del Amo to receive the $5 million check that was given to the 4 cities. Thank you. I always get those two confused. The 4 cities for the Del Amo development. And then August 12th, ABC USD School District started school. And I know that the middle school 7th graders started the Friday before. I just want to welcome all the students back to school. Hopefully your summer was great. And looking forward to a new year. And then I also wanted to congratulate Dr. Wise, who is the new principal at the Cerritos High School. I was fortunate to be on the interview panel for her last year, along with other very good candidates. And it's nice to see that she was selected, and looking forward to a great year at Cerritos High School. And on August 12th, I attended the Sharon Cork Silva's business meeting here at the Cerritos Library. And then to close my comments, I just Dario, I know you're leaving. Thank you again for your service. And I know that the city manager informed me, and I believe the whole council, in regards to Yvette Villalobos, our assistant up there. What is her official title there?
Her title is Department Secretary.
Department Secretary. So I like to think she's an assistant because she always assists me whenever I go there. She's done an outstanding job. I know that she's been in the city manager's office for 18 years. I know when I got elected and I came in, she was the first person you see walking in every single time, and she's always been very helpful. I heard that she's moving on to Public Works. She's not leaving the city, but she's moving on to a different department and continuing her career here in the city. But I just want to let staff know, and also her know, that how much I appreciate her service up in the city manager's office. And I see a lot of heads nodding. I know that's a message all of you want to express to her as well. So I hope that where she goes, Public Works, she is going to be happy and achieve all that she needs to achieve. I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss the services she provided to the council. And I know that when I go there in the morning at 8, I see her there. And then when I get there at 6:30 sometimes, I still see her there working, and and she's a force to be reckoned with. And I'm going to miss her, but I know she's not that far away. So I just want to say thank you to her and her service on the council and the city manager's office. And with that, I believe we have closed session. So I'll defer to you, City Attorney.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and members of the council. We have 3 closed session items this evening. Item 12A is conference with legal counsel with a threat of litigation with significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 or 3 of subdivision D of section 54956.9 of the California Government Code. The number of potential cases is 1. And items 12B and 12C are a conference with labor negotiators pursuant to California Government Code section 54957.6. where agency negotiators are Robert A. Lopez, City Manager, Patricia Leyva, Personnel Risk Manager, and Joseph Larson, City Attorney's Office. And for item 12B, the employees' organization is AFSCME Local 619. And for 12C, unrepresented employees full-time exempt. And with that, council can recess into closed session.
And so recessed. Thank you.